शेयर कर रहा हूँ दीदी।
ठीक, थैंक यू।
ओके भैया, यू कैन स्टार्ट।
कस्तूरी तिलकं ललाटपटले वक्षस्थले कौस्तुभं नासाग्रे वर्मौक्तिकं करतले वेणुकरे कङ्कणम् सर्वाङ्गे हरिचन्दनं सुललितम् कंठे च मुक्तावली गोपास्त्री परिवेष्टितो विजयते गोपालचूरामणि वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनम् देवकी परमानन्दम् कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम् कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम् गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरु साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः. We are reading from the Shrimad Bhagwat Mahapuran, and we are going through the chapters in Canto 10. We are reviving the season after a gap of few months. So this is so beautiful and heartwarming. So let's begin the session with a bhajan, and then we will go through the text. We will try to understand the commentary and the passage, the purport of the chapter, and also we will have some interactive discussions. Tu manmani, tu manmani tyagre. So this is a very profound bhajan penned by our Gurudev Sri Maharaj Ji. So I request Anjan Bhaiya to read the English translation. Then I'll sing a couple of stanzas, and then I'll let Anjan Bhaiya also sing a couple of stanzas. Radhe Radhe.
Rather, rather. O mind, give up this frivolousness. You have wasted endless lives in sleep. Now wake up at once. Keep neither hatred nor attachment towards your child, spouse, or friends. Attach your mind exclusively to the lotus feet of Sri Krishna. Give up the desires of the senses and drink the nectar of divine love. Says Sri Kripalu, if you desire material pleasures or liberation, your love will get tarnished.
तू मन मन मानी त्याग रे तू मन मन मानी त्याग रे
तू मन मन
मन मन
मानी त्याग
मानी
रे.
त्याग रे तू मन मन मानी त्याग रे. Maybe I will sing one line and then you repeat. So I'll sing and you can repeat the next line, the same line. तू मन मन मानी त्याग रे तू मन मन मानी त्याग रे
तू मन मन मानी त्याग रे. तू मन मन मानी त्याग रे.
बीते जन्म अनंत नींद मह
पीते जन्म अनंत नींद मह.
बीते जन्म अनंत नींद मह
बीते जन्म अनंत नींद मह.
अब झटपट उठ जाग रे मन, अब
अब
झटपट
झटपट उठ
उठ
जाग
जाग
रे,
रे, उठ जाग रे, उठ
उठ
जाग
जाग
रे।
रे।
तू मन मन मानी त्याग रे, तू मन मन मानी त्याग रे।
तू मन मन मानी त्याग रे, तू मन मन मानी त्याग रे।
पुत्र कलत्र मित्र आदिक जे,
पुत्र कलत्र मित्र अधिक जे,
पुत्र कलत्र मित्र आदिक जे।
पुत्र कलत्र मित्र अधिक जे,
तिन करु द्वेष न राग रे मन,
मन
तिन
तिन
करु
करु द्वेष न
द्वेष
राग
न
रे।
राग रे, मन राग रे, मन राग रे। तू मन मन मानी त्याग रे, तू मन मन मानी त्याग रे।
तू मन मन मानी त्याग रे, तू मन मन मानी त्याग रे।
नंद नंदन पादार विंद ते,
नंद नंदन पादार विंदते,
नंद नंदन पादार विंद ते।
नंद नंदन पादार विंदते।
करिले अब अनुराग रे मन,
मन
करिले
करिले
अब
अब
अनुराग
अनुराग
रे,
रे,
अनुराग रे, अनुराग रे। तू मन मन मानी त्याग रे, तू मन मन मानी त्याग रे।
तू मन मन मानी त्याग रे, तू मन मन मानी त्याग रे।
तजि दे इंद्रि न विषय वासना,
तजि दे इंद्रि न विषय वासना,
तजि दे इंद्रि न विषय वासना।
तजि दे इंद्रि न विषय वासना।
प्रेम सरस रस पागरे मन,
मन प्रेम
प्रेम
सरस रस
सरस रस
पागरे,
पागरे, पागरे रस पागरे। तू मन मन मानी त्याग रे, तू मन मन मानी त्याग रे।
तू मन मन मानी त्याग रे, तू मन मन मानी त्याग रे।
जो कृपालु चह भुक्ति मुक्ति तो,
जो कृपालु चह भुक्ति मुक्ति तो,
जो कृपालु चह भुक्ति मुक्ति तो।
जो कृपालु चह भुक्ति मुक्ति तो,
लगे प्रेम पट दाग रे मन,
मन
लगे
लगे प्रेम पट
पट
दाग रे,
दाग रे, पट दाग रे, पट दाग रे। तू मन मन मानी त्याग रे, तू मन मन मानी त्याग रे।
तू मन मन मानी त्याग रे, तू मन मन मानी त्याग रे।
त्याग रे, त्याग रे, त्याग रे। श्रीमद सद्गुरु सरकार की
की
जय,
जय,
श्रीमद युगल सरकार
हर
की
की
जय।
जय।
जय जय
जय
श्री
श्री
राधे,
राधे,
जय जय
जय
श्री
श्री
राधे,
राधे,
Jai Jai Shri Radhe. Our Koti Koti Pranam to the lotus feet of Sri Hari and Sri Guru. Our Koti Koti Pranam to Swami Mukundanandji. My humble pranam to each one of you. And now let us read from Shrimad Bhagwat Mahapuran, Canto 10, Chapter 52, Balram's marriage, Rukmini's message. So, since we are assembling after a gap, we have forgotten the link and the sequence, but it's not such a challenge. It's quite logical and sequential. The Bhagwat Mahapuran has 18,000 verses distributed in 12 cantos, and 10th canto is the longest with the 90 chapters. For example, first canto has only 19 chapters, second canto has 10 chapters, third canto has 33 chapters, but 10th chapter is the longest. It has 90 chapters. In the first canto, we learn about the reason, the background why Bhagwat Mahapuran was composed, because Bhagwat Mahapuran is composed by Vedavyasji. He is also called the literary avatar. So he is the divine personality who is composing the 18 Puranas, then Brahma Sutra, Mahabharat with 100,000 verses. 18 Puranas have total 400,000 verses. And then he also divided the Vedas into 4. So he is called Vedavyas because he divided the Vedas. So it is not easy for someone to read the Vedas and gain the spiritual knowledge. And the other different methods like the karma, the gyan are also extremely difficult to fathom. So bhakti marg is the best, is the easiest, and Bhagwat Mahapuran is the one which talks about bhakti marg without any contamination. So until Vedavyas had composed the Srimad Bhagwat Mahapuran, he was restless, and how Naradji came to him on the bank of Saraswati and he inspired him to write the Bhagwat Mahapuran without any contamination of dharma, artha, kama, moksha, without the material afflictions. And that is what is mentioned in the first canto. In the first canto, we also have episodes about Kunti's prayers, Ashwatthama killing the children of Draupadi, birth of Parikshit Maharaj, Ashwatthama trying to kill Parikshit Maharaj in the womb, and how Shri Krishna saves him, and then the advent of Kali Yuga, and how the Maharaj Parikshit is cursed by the sage because he put the dead snake on the neck of the Rishi. And finally, Parikshit Maharaj listens to the Bhagavad Katha, which is rendered by Sukadev Goswami. So that was the first canto. In the second canto, we learnt about how to worship the subtle form of the Lord and the gross form of the Lord. And in the second canto also, additional avatars of the Lord were described. In the first canto, the 24 avatars of the Lord are described. And in the second canto also, there are some Leela avatars described. And in the second canto, we also learn briefly about creation, and we learn about the 10 topics of Bhagavad, which are Sarg, Visarg, Poshnam, Sthanam, Uti, Ishanu Katha, Ashray, Nirodh, etc. So there are 10 topics of Bhagavad. For example, Sarg means the primary creation. When the creation begins, first the Lord releases the elements. For example, he agitates the Prakriti, which leads to Mahatattva, which leads to Ahankar, which are of 3 types, Tamsik, Rajasic, Sattvic, which leads to Panch Tanmatra, the 5 sense perception, which leads to Panch Mahabhut, the 5 material elements, earth, water, fire, air, space. So this is called the primary creation. And then the secondary creation takes place. Yeah, the senses are also created in the primary creation, the indriyas, karmendriyas and gyan indriyas. And then Mahavishnu has taken the expansion of Garbhodakshayi Vishnu, and from his navel Brahmaji appears, and Brahmaji is empowered to create the trees and the animals and the humans and the different species. And how it happens? First, Brahmaji creates the Manas Putras and the 4 Sanatan, 4 Kumaras, Sanat, Sanatan, Sanak, Sanandan, and then Rudra. And then there are issues with the creation of Rudra because the anger is so much. So that is subdued. And finally, Manu and Shatrupa, they come on the scene. And from then, the biological creation begins. And that is how the different manvantars take place. So there are 14 manvantars in one day of Brahma. And at the end of the day, Brahmaji goes to sleep. So there is a partial pralay, dissolution. The Bhu, Bhuva, Swa Loka are destroyed, but the upper lokas beyond Maharloka, Tapaloka, Japaloka, Janaloka, Satyaloka, they remain intact. Brahmaji doesn't die, Brahmaji goes to sleep. And when Brahmaji is awakened again, the creation is brought forth. So this was briefly described in the second canto. And Manuji and Satrupaji, they are the first pair, the supreme, the first man and the first woman. So from them, the 5 children are born: 2 sons, Priyavrat and Uttanpad, and 3 daughters, Akuti, Prasuti, and Devhuti. And rest of the cantos are description of the different lineages. So the lineage of Uttanpad, lineage of Priyavrat, lineage of Akuti, Prasuti, and Devhuti. And then we also get into the Chandravans and Suryavans in the 9th canto, and finally we come to the 10th canto, which is about the Krishna's Leelas. So that was a little background. Let me read a few slides and then I'll hand over to you all. Number 1, concluding the Kalyavan Leela, Sukdevji said, hearing and intent to follow the Supreme Lord's instructions, Muchukund, the scion of Ikchwaku, then did pradakshina to the Lord and bowing low, then came out of the mountain cave out into the countryside. Observing the men, beasts, and trees with low heights, he concluded that the Kali Yuga is setting in and proceeded in the north direction. Performing austerities free from all attachment, mindfully meditating on Lord Narayan, he entered the forests of Mount Gandhamardan. Then reaching Badrikashram, the abode of sages Nar and Narayan, he continued performing severe austerities calmly, bearing all discomforts like heat, cold, etc. with the Lord's grace. Meanwhile, Krishna too then returned back to Mathura, which was under attack from the Yavan army. Krishna then, destroying the Yavan army, wiping them out, collected the wealth left on the battlefield on bullock carts, now proceeded to his new abode Dvarka. King Jarasandh then appeared for the 18th time with his 23 Akchohinis to fight. So much of knowledge in this slide. If you just keep it for a while, we can just understand some of the terms in the first slide. So there is this personality called Kalyavan who needed to be destroyed, and the instrument, the person who made it happen was Muchukund. So he had the curse that he will sleep, and then when he awakes, and if someone disturbs him, he will destroy him. So there is a beautiful story about King Muchukund and how King Muchukund prayed and sang hymns for the Lord. And there is mention about the Ikchwaku dynasty. So Ikchwaku dynasty is in the Sun dynasty, the Surya Vansh, in which Sri Ram appears, whereas Sri Krishna appears in the Chandra Vansh, Brahmaji, Atriji, Chandra, and then Buddha, and then Yayati, and then Pururva, and Yadu, and Vasudev. All these are in the Chandra Vansh. So that is mentioned. Also, the advent of Kali Yuga. We also hear about the persons called Nar and Narayan. They are the avatar of the Lord, and for the universe, they reside in the Badrik ashram and they protect the universe. Also, there is a mention about the attack from Yavan, and there is the reference of King Jarasandh. So, as you may recall, that Jarasandh used to be spared by the Lord because the Lord wanted to wipe out the full miscreants. So, he will not kill Jarasandh, he will let him go, and Jarasandh will come back with more and more armies. And that's how he was decimating the armies of Jarasandh and ridding the earth of the demoniac elements. And so he finally appeared 18th time with 23 Akchohinis. Now, if any one of you know what is an Akchohini Sena, you can raise your hand and share. But Akchohini Sena is very amazing. There is, the phalanx of elephants, and then the horses, and then the chariots, and then the infantry, and the number is huge, some 24,000 elephants and double the number, 48,000 horses. I keep forgetting, but it's a very unique phalanx of army, and so many hundreds of thousands people are there in one Akchohini Sena. So with that army, he has come back. So let's see what happens in the next slide. Seeing the enemy's massive army, verse 1052-8. Vihaya vitam prachuram bhito bhiru bhitavat padbhyam padmapalashabhyam chelatur bahuyojanam. Leaving the immense spoils uncared for, the two brothers covered many a mile on their feet, resembling lotus petals, as though terribly afraid, though absolutely fearless. Jarasandh, glad to see them fleeing, laughingly pursued them on his chariots, underestimating the strength of the divine brothers, assuming he would easily catch them. Running a very long distance and acting as if apparently exhausted, the two divine brothers then climbed a lofty mountain, Pravarshan, which is blessed by Indradev with constant and continuous rain. Searching extensively and still not able to locate the two divine brothers in the mountain, Jarasandh then set ablaze with a ferocious blazing fire the whole mountain, side from all sides. Krishna and Balram then shot out from the mountain peak, which was at a height of 88 miles, and landed straight in the middle of Jarasandh's army, but remained invisible and incognito to the enemy. So Jarasandh, alas, he did not know that he is competing with the Lord of the universe, the Supreme Personality, beyond anyone's imagination, opulent in all strengths and beauty and fame and all different opulences. Who can ever match such a Lord? So he is doing all the leelas and giving the impression to Jarasandh that he is afraid and he is fleeing, and Jarasandh sets the mountain on fire. And one is amazed to see that the height of this mountain is 88 miles. So we cannot understand all the geography and the cosmos. And then Shri Krishna and Balram have escaped. They have jumped and they have gone into Dvarka. And we will read what happens next. Let me hand over to Anjan Bhaiya.
Jarasandh then concluded that Balaram and Krishna have not survived the fire and are burned to death. He, with his huge army, returned back to Amagadha, while Krishna and Balaram landed safely in their own abode, Dvarka. Sukdevji now reminds Parikshit what he had earlier told in Canto 9.3, that when Lord Lord Brahma met Raipat Putra, King Kukudmi, with daughter Revati, had told him, O king, a huge time has elapsed in earth since you came here. Generations and races known to you hardly exist in earth now. 27 rounds of the current Manvantar are already over. Since you seek an alliance for your daughter Revati, proceed to earth and give away this gem of a girl to the mighty Baladeva, who is a brother and part manifestation of the Supreme Lord. Coming back to earth, then following Lord Brahma's instructions, King Kudmi had Revati's marriage solemnized with Balram. Lord Krishna had married Princess Rukmini, who is a part of manifestation of Goddess Lakshmi, who was the daughter of King Bhishmaka, ruling over Vaidarbha. Krishna in a fight had defeated his cousin, ruler of Chedi kingdom, Shishupala, and many other kings like Salva, etc., who had come for Shishupal's marriage ceremony with Rukmini. Krishna had carried away Rukmini in front of these enemies, who were left gazing as swiftly as Garuda had carried the jar of nectar right in front of the Devtas.
So, thank you so much to again reflect on, and so much background knowledge is required to understand all these episodes because they are talking about the time scales which are different in the Devlok, which are different in Prithvilok. For example, one day of the Devata is equivalent to 1 year of humans. So when we have completed 1 year and we are celebrating the Happy New Year, Indra and others, they have just completed 1 day. So they must be looking at us and say, oh, they are celebrating New Year. It is our only first day, So you have to multiply by 360, or rather the human years have to be divided by 360 to get the Daiva years. For example, that's why we say, in one Manvantar, there are 71 Chaturyugis, and each Chaturyugi is 43 lakhs 20,000 years. So if you multiply 43 lakh 20,000 years, because one Chaturyugi means Satyug plus Treta plus Dwapar plus Kalyug, total it adds up to 43 lakhs 20,000 years. So multiply by 71, it comes to uh, it comes to 43 lakhs into, it comes to 1,000 1,000 cycles. Yes. So 71 is number of Chaturyugis in one day of Brahma, in one Manvantar. So in 14 Manvantars, it is like 1,000 cycles. So for Devata, this is for humans, you have to multiply by those many years, 360, etc. But for Daivalok, it is a much smaller number. So that time factor is there. That is why this person called King Kakudmi has been to Brahmalok with his daughter Revati, but the time scale is different. So Brahmaji is telling him that so many Manvantas have already passed and now so many generations are gone. So you proceed to the earth and give away this gem of a girl to the mighty Baldev. So this is about the marriage of Baldevji with Revati, who is the daughter of Kukudmi. And then there is the reference of the marriage of Rukmini with Shri Krishna. So who is Rukmini? She is the daughter of Bhishmak. And as you know, her brother Shishupal is very much her brother is very much wanting to get her married to Shishupal, which is his friend, and how that wedding takes place. and how Krishna carries away Rukmini in front of the enemies. That's a long episode by itself, which we will learn. So that is what it says. Krishna had carried away Rukmini in front of the enemies, who were left gazing as swiftly as Garur had carried the jar of nectar right in front of the Devtas. So Sri Krishna is married to the 8 Patranis: Rukmini, Jamvanti, Satyabhama, Lakshmana, etc. And he's also married to the 16,100 princesses who were rescued from Narkasur. So all those stories we'll come to know. Now let's move on to the next slide. Radhe Radhe. Okay, I'll read this and then maybe the next slide Anjan Bhaiya can read. After King Parikshit inquires, O Maharaj, I long to hear the details of this Leela, where I hear the Supreme Lord had married Rukmini, daughter of Bhishmak, according to the Rakshas Yuddharan Vivah, usually practiced by Rakshas or augurs type of marriage. How did the Lord defeat the rulers of Magad, Shalv, etc.? In verse 1052-20, King Parikshit queries, Sri Rajo Vacha Brahmana Krishna Katha Punya Madhvir Lokam Lapaha Kona Trupyeta Shinvana Shutyago Nityanutanaha. O holy Brahman, what man who is capable of understanding and appreciating what he has heard would feel seated as a matter of fact while hearing the stories of Shri Krishna, which are not only delightful to hear and ever interesting, but bring a great reward to the listener and wipe out sins of mankind. So, we will learn in detail about Rukmini Vivah in slides or in the next some chapters. Yes, I think in this slide itself. Sukhdev ji responds, the ruler of Vidarbha, King Bhishmak, had 5 sons and 1 daughter. Eldest son was Rukmi, followed by Rukmarath, Rukmabahu, Rukamesh, Rukmamali. And their sister was the exceedingly beautiful and virtuous Rukmini. The divine Rukmini, on merely just hearing from many guests and visitors in her palace about Shri Krishna's form, beauty, charm, and valor, had already lost her heart to Shri Krishna and taken him alone as her husband. Krishna too had heard about Rukmini's exceptional beauty, intelligence, amiability, and so many other virtues, and he too considered her as his worthy consort. Her eldest brother Rukmi, however, bearing a grudge against Sri Krishna, rejected and dismissed his parents' and brothers' desire to give Rukmini away in marriage to Sri Krishna. He forbade them from entertaining any such thoughts and in turn insisted and fixed Rukmini's marriage to Shishupal, the ruler of Chedi region. When Rukmini learnt of this, she then dispatched a Brahman scholar to Dvarka to carry her message and get Krishna to her urgently. When the Brahman reached Dvarka, he was first ushered in the assembly of Krishna, where the blessed fortunate Brahman beheld the Supreme Lord seated in a throne of gold. So, Rukmi is so much against marrying Rukmini to Shri Krishna. He wants her to get married to Shishupal, and Shishupal, as you know, is another very highly demoniac personality, and he hated Shri Krishna from his very birth, and that we know that his mother wanted some concession. So Shri Krishna had said, I'll forgive him 99 times, but the 100th time when he insults, I'll not stop. And that's what we will learn, how Shishupal will be slayed by Shri Krishna. We also should remember that Shishupal and Dantuvak, they are actually Jai and Vijay. Hiranyaksh, Hiranyakashipu in Satyug, then Shishupal and Dantavakra in Dwapar, and Sri Ram and Ravan and Kumbhakarn in Treta. So the boon was that Jay and Vijay, who are the divine personality, but they have been cursed by Sanat Sanatan Sanandan Kumaras. So they have to go through the punishment, but the punishment is transformed in such a way that they will go and become demoniac. In 3 ages, they will live on the earthly planet, but the Lord himself will descend and bring them back by killing them. So that is what we hear. Now let me read this one more slide. Warmly welcoming the guest, Krishna with respect made the guest sit on his throne while he himself sat down and honored the Brahmin exactly as Krishna himself is honored by the Devatas when he visits them. After the guest had taken his food and rested, Krishna then approached him and kneading his feet politely inquired, "O pious Brahmin, I hope you are following the principle of dharma without any difficulty with a calm mind." In verse 1052, 31, 32, Krishna explains the results of contentment and discontentment. संतुष्टो यर्हि वर्तेत ब्राह्मणो येन केनचित् अहीयमान स्वधर्मात् स हयस्याखिल कामधुक् असन्तुष्टो सकृलोकान् पनोत्यपि सुरेश्वरः अकिञ्चनोऽपि सन्तुष्टः शेते सर्वांग विज्वरः. When a Brahman remains contented with whatever is obtained without any endeavor, never swerving from his sacred duty, such contentment alone actually yields to him all his desired blessings. Such a profound learning about how the Brahmins should be contented, which is what we don't see in the so-called Brahmins in Kali Yuga, but then the Kali Yuga is such an age. All of us are degraded. So let's see what happens. This Brahmin has come from Rukmini's palace and he is carrying the message of Rukmini. That's what we will hear, but let's get Anjan Bhaiya to read the remaining slides and then we will go into the takeaways and the conclusion. Radhe Radhe.
A disconnected Indra, the ruler of gods, who only migrates one after another to the higher worlds and no rest, while a contented soul, even though destitute, enjoys a sound sleep with all his limbs, including the mind, free from anguish. Krishna continues, I bow and salute to all such calm, serene, ego-free and contented Brahmins who are well-wishers of all beings. Are you happy with your king in a Vidarbha? A king under whose rule people are most happy is very dear to me too. O wise one, do tell your purpose, which gets you so far, crossing the sea here. How can we be of assistance to you? Hearing the polite queries, the said Brahmana then informed Krishna, who had now taken a human form just for his Lord's own fun, all that had transpired right from Rukmini's parents' intention to marry her to Krishna, while her elder brother Rukmini had already fixed her marriage to Shishupal. He then directly gave the message of Rukmini to Krishna, where Rukmini says, having heard of your supreme Leelas and also of your excellent charming form, which dispels one's agonies, O supreme handsome Lord of the three worlds, my mind is now fully captivated with you, and I approach you unabashedly.
Wow, so this is about the Brahmin's purpose of visiting Shri Krishna, who tells him that Shri Krishna, who had now taken a human form just for his own fun, all that had transpired right from Rukmini's parents' intention to marry her, right? So he is the messenger Rukmini has sent to Shri Krishna, and the message is, having heard of your supreme leelas and also of your excellent charming form, which dispels one's agonies, O supreme handsome Lord of the three worlds, my mind is now fully captivated with you, and I approach you unabashedly. This is the pleading of Rukmini, and let's see what happens in the next slide. Yes,
Which
please go
young
ahead.
woman would not choose you as her husband and beloved, enchanted with your pedigree, pleasing disposition, charming and graceful form, knowledge, wisdom, youthfulness, opulence, glory, captivating the minds of all mankind? Hence I select and elect you alone as my husband, offering my all, my body, mind, soul, and everything else only to you. Hence, you must come and take me away as your wife from my father's home. Let not Sisupal or anyone else even touch me, as I belong solely to you. Just like a lion's prey belongs to the lion alone, and no other animal dares to touch it. If my worship to Lord Narayan has been true and pure, And if I have conducted many pious acts with reverence, performed austerities, given due respect and worship to devatas, brahmanas, elders, etc., then let the brother of Balaram, that is Sri Krishna, alone marry me and no one else.
So wonderful, and this is like the divine romanticism. It is unexplainable that how the goddess of the universe, Lakshmi, and how the Supreme Lord, they have enacted such amazing leelas. Because there are some people who say, no, God cannot take a form. You know, God is just the light. He is just the energy. But they call him God. And I ask a question, when you say God, what does it mean? He can do anything. So if he can do anything, why he cannot take a form? And it is such a problem with many, despite learning so much, they are still maintaining their stand. No, the Krishna that you see is like one elevated personality, still under Maya. They refuse to take Krishna as the supreme, and they say no, the supreme is invisible, the supreme is unmanifest. And that's the concept in many other religions also. So anyway, let's go into the next slide. Radhe Radhe. Okay, I'll just read. Bhaiya, you want to read the Sanskrit?
You can go ahead,
Okay,
Bhai.
okay. पुत्रेष्ट दत्त नियम व्रत देव विप्र गर्वर्चनादि बिरलम भगवान परेश आराधितो यदि गद गदाग्रज येत्य पाणिम गृह्णातु मेन दमघोष सुता दयोन्ये. If the Almighty Lord Narayan, the Supreme Ruler of the universe, has thoroughly been propitiated by me through works of public utility such as the digging of wells and tanks, construction of temples, laying out gardens and distribution of food grains, sacrificial performances, charitable gifts, religious observances such as taking dip in holy waters, fasting, offering worship to gods, the Brahmins, elders, and so on, may Shri Krishna, the elder brother of Gada, and not anyone else, such as Shishupal, come, and especially her divine message says, "O beloved, approach Vidarbha incognito with your army a day before my scheduled marriage to Shishupal. Fight with the army of Chedi and Magad, and then marry me in the Rakshasa style, winning me over as a prize in the fight war." If this is one type of marriage amongst 8, where the bride is forcibly taken away after fighting the assembled opponents. So this is very interesting in the Vedic literature. I understand not very well, but understand there are 8 types of marriages. So we were married in the Gandharva style, I think, like proper marriage ceremony and societal approval and everything else. But there are other types of marriages, like the Rakshas Vivah and all, where the bride is kidnapped. So that's a chapter in itself. Let's now move on to the next. Yes, please go
She
ahead.
continues, O Krishna, if you are apprehensive of killing my relations and guardians in this war, then let me suggest another way out, wherein no fight or war even needs to take place, which is on the day of the marriage, as per customs. I, as the bride, have to go to the family deity of temple of goddess Ambika in a grand procession to seek the blessings of Mata Girija. Parvati. In the temple premises before the marriage ceremony, you may then plan accordingly to secure me for yourself. If even after all these attempts I still remain deprived of your grace and do not attain the dust of your lotus feet, which is sought by even Almighty Lord Shiva, Devi Uma's spouse, I shall then discard this physical body and doing severe penances, austerities, and fasting in each birth again and again, even if it takes 100 births, until your grace is secured. The Brahmana guest then told Krishna, "These are the secret messages brought by me to you. O Krishna, O Lord, you may urgently do whatever you deem necessary in this situation." Concluding Rukmini's message, Sukdevji concludes this chapter.
So wonderful. Let us do some self-study because we have little time left. So, and then we started after a long gap. So we are all little, disoriented, so to say. But now let us conclude with the key takeaways. जाको आत्मा राम कही वेद ऋचान बखान राधे राधे सोई गोपिन संग रास कर गोपी हूँ वेद ऋचान राधे राधे जय राधे कृष्ण राधे कृष्ण राधे कृष्ण 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 राधे जय राधे जय कृष्ण राधे जय राधे जय Krishna. The hymns of the Vedas repeatedly describe the Supreme Absolute Shri Krishna as one who is content in the self, one who delights in the self, and one who revels in the self. That very same Supreme Being delights in the Maharaj with the gopis of Braj Dham. And the astonishing part is that those very Vedic hymns in personified form as gopis joined the Maharaj. So Sri Krishna is so close to the devotees that he lets the devotees get into Madhurya Bhav, who are constantly in thoughts of Sri Krishna, because Sri Krishna is so charming. He is such a enigmatic and the accomplished person that these gopis have understood that, and they have given their hearts and they are completely surrendered, and they are in the Madhurya Bhav, means they only look for the happiness of Sri Krishna. Their happiness is that Sri Krishna becomes happy. So this is Madhurya Bhav, and that Sri Krishna who is, the Atmaram, he takes a position and delights the gopis with the Ras Leela, is what we end in the conclusion. Radhe Radhe.
Radha Radha Bhaiya, thank you so much for your time. I know we have bit exceeded our time. We can conclude the session for today, but definitely we'll
Yes.
plan better from next week.
Yes.
And
So
then,
congratulations to everyone, all the people, especially Anjanji, Vijay Bhaiya, Sheila Didi, Smita ji to participate, and Yatin ji, of course, for reviving. And then if you can post the session, then I will also spread the message that we have restarted.
yes, I
Radhe
will do
Radhe.
that,
Boliye
Bhaiya.
Srimad Sadguru Sarkar
Hare
ki
ki
jai.
jai,
Srimad Yugal Sarkar ki
ki
jai.
jai.
Jai Jai Shri
Shri
Radhe.
Radhe,
Jai
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 Shri
Shri
Radhe.
Radhe, Jai
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 Shri
Shri Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.